A health expert who smokes, overeats, and does no exercise remains standing at the threshold of good health. So it is with us when we fail to act on our knowledge of God's will. So it is with us when we answer Jesus' call for compassion toward one another with callous indifference. So it is with us when Jesus says, "Forgive those who trespass against you." We answer with acts of vengeance. So it is with us when Jesus bids us share your blessings with others, and we answer by taking all we can get. So it is with us when Jesus says, "Follow me," and we remain standing at the threshold. That's human behavior. I start with doctors because I'm dealing with them. And we all know doctors, teachers. We've all had people in our lives who profess good things for us, the right things for us, things that we should be doing. And you can tell that they don't do it. The doctor who says that you shouldn't smoke, that you can't smoke, and their fingers are all stained with nicotine. The preacher who stands before you and says you need to diet and be fit, and they obviously are not. People who tell you that you should be running every day, and they do it once a month. On and on and on and on it goes. And it goes for our spiritual lives as well. That people who tell you that you need to pray every single day. And when it really comes down to it, they don't really pray often. Or until things are dire. It's human nature for us to want to tell people how to behave, to be the experts. This is what you need to do. But don't look to them as an example. You know, the old expression, do as I say, not as I do. And we're laughing because it's true. It's uncomfortable, but it's true. It's hard to walk the narrow path, but it's worth it. So that's what we see in this morning's gospel lesson. So what's been happening is that the Pharisees and Sadducees, the scribes, have all gathered around Jesus, and they're firing questions at him, trying to trap him. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to see if he truly knows Scripture, and he truly knows the laws, and doing whatever they can to try to trip him up. And interestingly enough, whenever Jesus faces one of these issues, he never answers the question directly, because it's not about the question. What he addresses is the heart. He always goes to what's truly motivating, what's in their heart. And he kind of puts a mirror right back at them, which is what God does with us. Puts that mirror back so that you're looking at yourself. You're evaluating yourself. You're judging the only person on this earth that you have a right to judge is you. And you're the one person that you never judge. You judge everybody else, but not you. So Jesus never answers their question. He doesn't fall into the trap. what he does, actually, try to help them in their spiritual journey. Whether they see it or not, whether they understand it or not, he's helping them to know their hearts. Because it's their heart that bring them into God's presence. So, in our reading, we have some scribes who are watching and listening. They may be Pharisees, they may not. Sadducees, they are scribes. And they're watching. And they say they're impressed with his answers. Right. And they say, well, we've got a question. What are the greatest? The greatest. Now, Jesus answers them directly. Answers the question directly. So we know that their hearts were pure. They were asking a genuine question. They weren't trying to trip him up. Not all of the Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes were against Jesus. Remember Joseph of Arimathea, Nicodemus. There are those that were aligned with him, that understood, that got it, that realized that this is the Messiah, that this is God with us. So, one of the things that was prevalent in the Jewish community then and now is to ask questions. Constantly ask questions. Because you don't know unless you have really delved into a subject. You don't know until you have discussed it amongst yourselves how you really feel, what you really believe, and where truth really is. So it was common to ask questions. There's nothing wrong with it. There's never anything wrong with asking questions. And we started out with 10 commandments, and they ended up with 632 laws. 632 of anything is a lot to keep track of, especially when the laws were so critical, when they were looked upon and judged so vehemently that if you stepped over the line just a little bit, somebody was there to pounce on you and to say, no, you need to come back into alignment, back into relationship with God. And that these 632 laws were the way to do that. And so that's a lot to keep track of. So they asked Jesus, okay, well, what's the greatest of these laws? They answered them directly. Because they were genuinely asking, what's the greatest law? And of course, we know that to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your... in other words, completely, openly, wholly. There's nothing between you and love of God. Nothing. No barriers. God first. Nothing between that. And then he added, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor, yourself. On these two hang all the prophets, all the laws. In other words, if you're doing these two, then everything else is going to fall into place. If you are doing these two, then it doesn't matter what the other laws say, because you are honoring these two first. So, you're not supposed to work on the Sabbath. Your neighbor falls down, breaks an arm, and you take them to a doctor to have it mended and fixed. That you work on the Sabbath. You know what? God's not going to care that you work on the Sabbath. God's going to be more concerned that your neighbor was taken care of. The story of the Good Samaritan. Person is robbed, beaten, left on the side of the road. Clergy person comes along and, oh my goodness, I can't go near them because if I do, I'm going to become ceremonially unclean. I can't touch them. I have to go to worship. It's more important that I go to worship. So I'm going to leave them alone. Possibly die at the side of the road. Which do you think God is being there clean and pure for worship service, or missing worship service, saving somebody? If you're doing this, everything else is going to fall into place. That's the most. Be aware of the others. Keep yourself in alignment, but let them all be judged according to that love of God is first and foremost in your heart, mind, soul, day-to-day action. Love for neighbor. For so, the Pharisees preached a good line. They knew which rules to obey, when to obey them, how to obey them. They knew how to judge you from morning till night. None could do it better. We're surrounded by Pharisees. We're surrounded by Sadducees. People who preach a real good line and don't know how to walk the narrow road. Don't know how to live what they preach. They never get over the pressure. They're always right there. Trying. They have good intention. They want to cross over into what we call God's dominion, into God's glory. Just so, as I said, there is only one person in this world who has ever been or ever will be. You have a right to you. There is only one person whom you can look at their actions, that you can look at the motives in their heart and deem whether you're on the right path or not. And to evaluate, am I living into my beliefs? Am I practicing what I preach? Am I on this side of the threshold? Or am I willing to walk over, be in God? So, each and every day, all day long, you have the opportunity to look at yourself, your actions, look at your heart, and ask yourself, Am I living faith professed? Am I living